Okay, so I just want to say thank you so
Okay.
much for taking time out of your busy day to allow me to interview you. I'm very
No
thankful.
problem.
I'm a fan of yours. Obviously, I listen to your radio show. So, which is why I decided to
I
ask,
thank you.
because I just want to introduce myself, Claudia Sandoval. I am a
Mhm.
student at Centennial College for Media and Communications. So one of our assignments is to interview somebody that's in the industry that we're kind of interested in being in. And I was like, well, let me just shout out Jem and see if she replies. And you did. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. No problem. So what's
Okay.
your interest? Is it radio? Is it media? Is it
It's
TV?
radio. It's radio, but
And,
like the program that I'm in is very broad. So like it's everything
Mhm.
media, right?
So what would you like to specialize in? Just like in a perfect world right now, what are you leaning towards?
I would love to be what you do, like a radio
On air.
personality.
Get it, girl. Yeah,
Yes,
man. Okay. That's wicked.
But like at the same time, I'm still trying to figure out like if there's a other direction that I want to, but always radio, like always music, radio, communications, programming, something like that. We'll see.
Right. Well, the more you know, the better you make any position. So even if
Yeah.
it is for on air, but you know how to produce, or you know what I mean? It just makes
Right.
you better at whatever it is you do. So
Yes. Thank you. Yes. That's what I'm working on, just to like learn everything kind of thing.
yes.
I'm not
Yes,
gonna,
we need more women.
yes. I'm not gonna take up too much of your time. I just have a few questions.
Okay.
Okay. So first question. So what education or training did you receive before you entered the industry?
Okay, that's an interesting one because my unofficial entry into the industry was through community radio. And I had no training at that point. I was just a high school student, and I volunteered. And I just loved my favorite show, which was The Power Move. I loved hip hop, and I was volunteering. It just coincidentally, tell me if I'm too windy here because it's looking windy where I am. Yeah, it coincidentally was at Ryerson, which is where I was studying radio and television arts, but I started before I ever got in the program. And I actually got into the program more for the writing side. I really thought I'd be like, that's kind of my heart. I do a lot of spoken word and short story. Like I've always been a writer. So I was thinking of journalism at the time, or maybe writing for TV. Radio was more just something I did for fun. But then I guess after, I could say I did go through the radio and TV program, but again, I'm more specialized in the TV writing part of it. But we definitely did take some radio courses that helped me. There was like, there's definitely some stuff that helped me in radio, but I had already started.
Wow.
So I don't know if that helps, but
no, it helps. It helps. Definitely it helps. For you, it just kind of fell on your lap in a way, which is amazing. But obviously writing, I've been just in the schooling that I've been doing, I've noticed writing is huge in media. Like they push it big time with, all kinds of writing.
For sure. And that's what I mean. It helps. Like all of those things help you because in a way, like it's not like I sit down and write everything, but Mark and I, like when we're doing bits, it's a storyline. You know what I mean? So we know where the punchline is. So understanding that helps.
So it's all kind of pre-planned, but you guys make it sound so natural, right?
It's weird. Here's the thing.
It's both. I guess.
Yeah, it's both. Exactly. So there's an understanding of where it's gonna go. And how, like I always say, you got to know the rules so you can break them. So we're happy to break the rules, but we understand what a good break is, that there's a beginning, a middle, where the joke is the punchline. Mark and I have known each other so long and we're each other that we kind of have this weird, we just know where the other person will go. Some of our best breaks are completely unplanned, or we had one planned and we completely ignore it when the mic's on and it goes better. But at least the point is we do know how to plan one if we need one. So
and that's why you guys are so entertaining, because you just click. Right? There's a connection.
I think so. That was, I think the biggest thing we got, because we were paired up with a lot of different people, was people always talk about our chemistry. So that's a blessing, and you don't always get that. You know what I mean? So blessing.
Yeah, for sure. Blessing. So, okay. So what skills or qualifications are required in your industry? I think you answered that. Writing.
I'm chatty. I'll over answer everything.
No, it's fine.
I think being a people person really helps.
Definitely.
I think, knowing how to be a storyteller, knowing how to disseminate information. I think it's weird. Like, I don't want to say being a reader, but being able to consume stories. So that might be as a reader on my part or more media on Mark's part, but just being very aware of what's going on. So even, I remember like growing up, I was like, I love Downtown Julie Brown. She was an MTV host in the States. And it was like, I love watching Entertainment Tonight. I'll never get a job doing this. You know what I mean? And I loved it. But, you know, it turns out like that's my homework. Like every night I gotta like some of the gossip pages and the blogs, like it turned out like what my interest was. So being able to take that in. So
and that way that obviously helps with your show and being able to talk about all the different
for sure
things that are going on.
For sure. And I think being able to be so like being out there. So out there in the media, online, on a stage, being, you know, having that in you. I don't think you have to just be that, but being able to switch that on, I think definitely helps. And also being able to do research. It can also be like, it's funsies, but it's also serious. So being able to do some serious research so that you can also pivot and like do news or do journalism. You know what I mean?
Exactly. No, that's amazing.
That would cover it.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so has the industry changed much over the last 5 years, would you say? I feel like
yes and no. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, obviously want to hear what you have to say, but me personally,
no, I want to hear what you say. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say that podcasting seems to be a big thing now, which is sort of right. And satellite radio, which I guess in a way competes with, you know, your regular.
Right. For sure.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. In some of the issues, it hasn't changed where like having more voices of color, still not having as many women, those kind of things I don't think have changed. But I think you're right. Like in the side things that are around it, just like how the record industry changed when people had access because of YouTube. So people could do their own thing, right? And now everybody can be famous and stars can do their own PR. Now you can do your own radio because you can podcast. Like you can have access to doing a show. You can go and put an iTunes mix up and do your radio. You can be on SoundCloud. So I think everyone has access to a type of radio or their own, where before it might be a pirate radio station now. I think with social media and just with technology, everyone can kind of, in a way, have their own type of radio show, or at least some access to a fan base to do what we do.
Exactly.
And like you mentioned too, I think on the flip side, that was me, I guess, talking about the on air, but on the flip side, I guess the listener probably has more access to different music, because before it used to be radio is whatever you can get around here. And maybe you might listen to an online thing, or way back in the days, you would have listened to a tape, you know what I mean? But now it's like, I can say, I want to listen to a DJ in South Africa right now this morning. You know, like my parents listen to me from Grenada. You do a shout out and they hear it here. We have people in Jamaica, like, so I guess the connection has also changed because now they listen to, you consume radio differently. So it can be in your car, it can be through the internet, for sure.
Yeah, which is a great thing, obviously.
For sure. Yeah. And I think with all those changes, it's a positive for sure. And with all those changes, I think just like with the music industry, people thought that the changes meant that it dies, because everybody was saying radio is dead for like the past 10 years.
Yeah.
But what happens is it just pivots and it shows you how important it really is. But you also have to pivot with it. So now, rather than fight podcasting, radio stations are podcasting. You know what I mean? So it's just about that. Yeah.
True. Yeah. It's wow. Are there any new developments in the industry that could affect future opportunities?
Like future generally in the industry?
Like, I would say generally, I guess.
That is interesting. No, you know, I would say just the things we talked about just now. Same technology.
Same things,
Yeah, I think that would be the only change. And I mean, I always expect there to be something else. You know what I mean? So, so it's like there's online, there's this. I'm sure there'll be something else because the world changes and technology improves all the time.
Yeah.
But nothing like on the cusp right now that I can think of other than those things.
Yeah, just adapting to the new times and the new technology and whatnot.
Definitely. And the challenges, like we can adapt to it, but you have to acknowledge that it's a challenge. Like where you die is when you pretend that that challenge doesn't exist.
Right.
Like I remember hearing that I think that was it Blockbuster approached, I don't want to say the wrong thing. I think it was either like no.
I think I know where you're going with this. Yes,
I think Netflix.
No, Netflix approaching Blockbuster. Yeah, that's right.
Right. And it's like you refusing to see that you're dying. Like you could have, can you imagine, girl, the pivot? But you have to also have the ego to say, okay, maybe my way is like, we all have this thing where it's like, I deserve to like win. Like when I find a win, I deserve to win like this effortlessly forever. You know what I mean? Like I know what my fight is and I'm not fighting anymore. And I just get to win like this. And I own this. And somebody else says, okay, what you thought you owned is not always yours for the rest of time. And there's somebody else coming in and they laughed them out of the office. And I mean, we've heard that in a million different stories. Exactly. So I think it's also just about that, being willing to do the pivot.
And what goes around comes around. As you can.
For sure.
Right?
Exactly. For sure.
Right? Yeah. So what is the typical advancement path for your job? I didn't make these questions up. I swear.
You see, that's very interesting because I don't have a typical.
I guess I was wondering in regards to that same question. Do sometimes like radio hosts move on to being like programmers in the background, like directors?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
definitely, for sure. The thing is, as a Black woman in this industry, and as a Black woman who works at a Black station, and there's one of the entire country of Canada, I don't have the same access to say what normally in radio we'd be doing.
Yeah,
because it's not like I'm moving from radio to radio to radio, or there's so many jobs.
Yeah,
it's all of us in this one place, in this one job, right? But yeah, definitely. And I mean, I've moved around. When I started at CKLN volunteering on the Power Move show.
Oh, you
at
did?
About 19. Yeah. I was in high school, so I might have been 18 when I started. But I was just DJ like a little
Grouch
helper
at that time.
No, it was. I think he was CHRY. It was DJ X.
Okay.
DJ X.
I remember listening to it back in the days too. Okay.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Grouch was over. I want to say Grouch was at CHRY,
and that's all we had back then, right?
Exactly. That was it. I mean,
yeah.
By the power, we could say we were wicked, or we could say that's all you guys get. Like it was us or CIUT. Yeah, it was like 89.5 or 88.1. But yeah, so I started there, and then at 18. I got the job as the music director, which was at 19, I got the job as the music director, which was awesome of them to trust me with that, because it was like all the music, like from rock to funk to jazz, everything to like, and you had metal.
Control of that as the director.
For sure, definitely. For sure. So I think there's pretty much every position at the station could be open, if that makes any sense. So you could, like, if you show an affinity for music, and I think I've seen a lot of people where they'll volunteer to help do something else, where the position wasn't even there, and they'll volunteer, and then suddenly it's like this person knows how to do that job, and either they do it plus their job, which happens at a lot of radio stations where people are doing double duty, or they move into that job fully. So you could be editing, you could be producing, you could be writing commercials. I know a lot of radio people who started doing that, and now they're behind the scenes writing in the finance department. You just kind of find yourself. So you could be the program director. There's really a lot of positions you could move to. So
would you say that it's just a matter of kind of like getting in?
For real. Completely. I know so many people who just got in helping out as an intern.
Yeah.
When I went to Power Move, I was answering phones. I was the phone girl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's something that I'm like, oh man, I'd love to intern. That would be amazing.
Yeah, it's a good way. I always
because it's a good way to like,
foot in.
Yeah, just stick your foot in, right, and gain experience and whatever.
Exactly.
And
even on the promo team, you know what I mean? It's like the promo team. You work with people. The audience gets to know you, so you start to understand that. And eventually, even though it's small, every once in a while, the promo person will have to grab the mic. You know what I mean? And it might be off air to the people where you are. And then sometimes on air, the promo person is talking. So now you're getting a little experience on air. It was the same with me. I think X essentially put me on air because I was the flyer girl and I used to answer the phones. And I used to come in early and organize the flyers, and it was a mess. So there was a few guys and me who used to answer the phones. And then people started asking for me specifically because I knew what was going on because I came earlier. And then X started to ask for me specifically because I knew more about what the flyers were and what parties were going on. But I never did it to be on air. It was just like, I think that there's a De La Soul quote where they say, if I was a street sweeper, I'd be the best street sweeper I could be. Like whatever your job is, do the hell out of it.
Do it the best you can.
And not doing it to be something else, just to be the best at that. So it was like just being the best at answering the phones and answering the flyers led me to being on air, to being his co-host, to having my own show, to being the music director, like just in saying, I don't, because there's a lot of girls that came in and were like, I want to be famous. I want to be on the air. And I just put my head down. I was like,
that's not what it's all about.
It's not. It's for like 1 second. And then it's like, I was like, okay, I'm going to be good at the job I've been given. And then I end up getting more than the job that they wanted. But
exactly.
You just got to focus. Right.
So it wasn't even about like, oh, we like your voice, therefore we're going to promote you. It wasn't even that.
No,
like
on community radio.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think essentially, I think he probably liked my voice too, but from what I know and understand, it was just like, they would just call me like, Jem, it was like, where's that? And then yes, once I was on, people start to like my personality and my voice, but I know he called me on originally just because it was like, and listen, the power move was on we were all teenagers. So it's not like X really, I mean, he intuitively knew how to run the show, but it wasn't like, super professional. And now when I went to G, they had heard me, they knew, not G, Flow, they had heard me and they knew of me from the radio station. So there was that, but I still had to audition. So that was more the one where I'd say like, they had to actually like my sound and my read and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
It was more structured in a way.
Exactly. So a little bit of both.
Amazing. So what advice would you give a student like myself to get into your industry?
Yeah, I love that we're like answering the questions right before they come out.
I know. I know. So it's like, I feel like we just answered this, but anyways.
I love it. No, but same thing. I would say, just to volunteer or, I mean, know your worth. You can't volunteer forever, but be able to go in and try to get your foot in the door because you never know where it will lead you. And also just understand where you want to be. It's cool to say, yo, I want to be the program director or I want to be on air. That's cool. And you can let people know that. But in wanting to do that, make sure that the job that you're there to do, you do really well because people take note of it. Yes. Like I've seen people where it's like, yo, that girl that was an intern, she's as small and trivial as this is, she gets our orders right every time, which means she's on point. So maybe we should move her up to doing marketing. You know what I mean? Or maybe we should move her to deal with the listeners because she's just so on point. So whatever it is you do, just do it to the best, and the rest will come later, I think. At least that's how I've seen it.
Is that something that's like typical within like within the radio industry where they take note and they just promote people just because they feel like their work ethic is worth it, or is it more?
It can't. Well, it
can be like that.
On what the job is.
Right.
Yeah, it's if your work ethic is suited to what that next promotional job is, sure. But like you could be the best work ethic and your voice is terrible. It's like, but I think people take note of good work and people take note of you going over and above, and will find a space for you where that isn't wasted. Because a lot of times people will come in and you'll be like, I feel like your talent is wasted because you're so good at this and I want to see where else we can put you. And, sometimes someone will teach you something like, yo, I just really like this person's attitude. I like how they work. And meanwhile, we might need someone doing sound and it's like, hey, do you want to try doing voice stuff? Do you want to try doing sound? I'll teach you. So it's all about also finding the right person. Because sometimes it's the right personality. Like you might be the right person on paper. Like I know how to do this. I know, and your personality sucks.
Right.
But we can train the right personality to be the right person. Yes. If that makes sense. Yeah.
So personality is a big thing.
It is. It is. How you talk to people.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. And we watch, like, I watch and understand how people talk to me, but I really watch how they talk to other people.
Yes.
Because how they speak to me is one thing. Like I know where, where my role is, who I am, whatever. Right.
Yeah.
But when you talk to other people, it's like, oh,
that's when they're,
you know, we watch.
Yeah, that's when they shine, right? It's like, I've always wondered, like in my job, like how managers see other agents, because they'll never see them the way that, you know, we see them as coworkers. You know what I mean? Because people act differently around managers. So I'm like, how do they?
Of course.
You know what I mean?
1,000. Of course.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's the same with you, where you're like, okay, this is how you talk to me. I mean, I get it. We're all going to try to nice up the manager, but what are we doing here? Like, who are you outside of my circle, right? For sure.
Yes, definitely. Okay, 2 more questions. I'm not going to take up any more of your time.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
So I guess we answered this in the beginning, but is this something that you've always wanted to do or envision yourself doing, being a radio personality?
No, but I've always seen myself being some kind of a broadcast journalist. So I think, but I don't know if I thought that was realistic, because the only person I knew that was a brown woman and had any kind of aesthetic was downtown Julie Brown. That's one woman.
Right.
And, you know, she looks like an Amazon supermodel. Yeah. And she has a British accent and the whole nine. It was like,
yeah,
it's not for any reason. Like, I think maybe growing up, if I thought I could, but I didn't see that mirrored to me anyway. So it didn't make sense. It was like, yeah, that would be cool. I always know music would be in my life, but I just thought it was as a passion. Even when I joined the radio station, that was for funsies. And I never thought I could even when Flow first came around, a few people told me to apply and I didn't, because I was like, I couldn't see myself in that position. Like, I was like, I do this for fun. Like, you guys want like the straight lace. I wasn't trained in that. I didn't see myself in it.
Really?
So it was just something I did for fun because I loved hip hop.
Yeah.
So I was just like, you guys want me to be like, hello, like, you know what I mean? I was just like, what do you think this is? Like, the little hip hop kid is gonna go on air, and you know,
that's
amazing. Didn't see it.
That's amazing, but here you are, though. You know, you didn't see it.
Yeah, well, they saw it. They saw it.
They saw it in you. You just never saw it in yourself. That's amazing.
Yeah, and to be honest, I kind of thought they knew who they wanted or whatever, and I thought they were being nice to me. You know, and it's like, because I had helped push for the station, and it was like, okay, won't you play? And I just thought, okay, I know that the station's there, but I didn't push because I want to be on the station. I pushed because I think it's a good look. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you don't have to, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when they kept coming back, I was like, oh, okay, let me try it. So yeah.
They were persistent, and you were like, you know what? This must be it. This must be it.
Yeah, because 1 or 2 people, but when a few more people from there reached out to me, I was like, oh, okay, this is a general thing that you guys think I could fit. You know what I mean? So the first 2 people, I was like, yeah. And then when like the third person, I was like, okay, yeah, let me try for sure. And like actually think maybe this could be a career.
And it turned out being a career.
Okay, so
amazing.
Far, knock on wood.
Yes. Amazing. Okay, so last question, I promise. Do you have any like rituals or practices that you do prior to an interview? Is it something that you have that you like? Yeah, because you interview a lot of people.
For sure.
Right. So is it something that, I mean, I'm sure now you're probably a little less stressed, but in the beginning you're probably like, you know, is there anything that you
at first you're so nervous? No, I mean, I used to sometimes, like, I would get like dry throats. I would just clear my throat. Like, you're fine, and all of a sudden it's like, what the heck? Like, why can't I speak? Or you get a little nervous.
Yeah.
But I think then, just like now, it's about doing your research, because that's the part, is like looking like you don't know what you're doing or saying the wrong thing. So I try to do my research, and I actually write things out, and then I'll freestyle off that. So I have my written questions if I need to fall to that, or I'll start with that. But also trying to find like an actual connection with somebody that you're just meeting in a few seconds. So what is the human connection? And for that, I got to go off the paper. Right. So I'll try to do my research, and I might even research what I think that connection might be. But in the moment when you start chatting, like, I'm trying to remember, I think one of my first ones with India Ari is we started talking about, like, I think she had on like a jean jacket and she made her own clothes, and I had like a little Jean made something, and we just started talking about thrifting and going secondhand shopping. And then we found out she made her own clothes. And then she asked me about my earrings, which I made. You just find, and then now it's Frenzies time. Now we're friends. You know what I mean?
Right.
So just trying to find that.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing is when you find the human connection, then you're less nervous because now it's like, oh, we're on the level.
Yes. And then you guys just vibe, and then it's cool from there.
Exactly.
It just works.
And listen, for me too, it's also about knowing when to quit. If I don't find it, okay, let's go back to the 1 or 2 questions on my paper and out you go.
Right.
I'm not here trying to struggle with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't get paid enough. It won't sound good. Like it won't sound real. So, you know, not everyone, and try not to take things personally, because sometimes somebody's had a really bad day. And sometimes I say I hate meeting my idols or people I'm fans of, because they're always amazing. And then they have a bad day and it just ruins my whole how much years of loving you, you know?
Yes.
Because you're whatever. But I also have to understand. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say, yeah, and then just ruins like your kind of perception of what you thought it would be and whatnot.
But I try to give people the grace and understand, you know, that they're human and they're going through something, and it might not be me. It's a little sad, but I'm like, I guess if the down is that I might not have the perfect one, the up is that I have this job where I do get to meet some of my heroes, and some of them are even more awesome than whatever. But, you know, give people the grace that it is what it is. So, all right, when's the new album coming out? Get out of here, let you go. You know what I mean? Like, if you're ready to go,
right.
Let it go gracefully. Because sometimes you hear people struggling with an interview, and it's just like, just let them go about their day. You know what I mean?
Completely awkward, and you're just like, oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Even if you don't know what it is, you know it's awkward. Even if you don't know why, you're listening and going, it just doesn't feel right, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, you know what? Thank you so much for your time. That was amazing.
You're so welcome.
I knew you were going to be as cool as you are. And that's why I wanted to interview, because I'm like, yo, she's going to be cool to interview. Thank you for your time.
Well, thank you. And no problem, and good luck.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see or hear you on my radio or TV or wherever.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe we'll see each other again in the future. Hopefully.
Okay.
I pray.
In person. All right. Get it, girl. I'll look out for you.
Thank you. By the way, I wanted to ask,
Yeah.
Is it okay to post this or?
Definitely, for sure.
Yeah, like social media or
for
like
sure.
my YouTube channel. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, okay, girl, get it. All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, no problem, hon.
Have a good day.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you, you too. Bye.